Here we
Hello.
go.
Hi,
Hello,
hi,
hi.
Madhavan.
Just a second. Let me just turn my face around. Hi,
Yeah.
Shubhra.
Hi,
How are
hi.
you?
I'm good. I'm very well.
Well,
Yeah.
my
Sorry, that
first
was a
Instagram.
technical bit, you know.
That's
So,
okay. We are live, I think. I hope
yeah,
people
yeah,
will
we
watch
are.
it.
We are live. And
But
we have about 9 people already there
that's
who've joined
wonderful.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So here we are to
Hi,
discuss what's
Nupur.
it
How?
called? Vacation news. Sounds very
It,
nice.
it is.
It's very interesting.
Believe you me.
Actually, yeah, because I heard about this third art retreat at Clifton, as you said, and I said, Clifton, that's a place in Karachi which is famous for the upscale people. I didn't know there was a Clifton in India as well.
There's a Clifton in Nainital.
Okay.
It's actually called Clifton House. It was Jim Corbett's guest house. It was at that some point of time. It used to be one property. He used to live in a house called Gurney House, and he with his sister. And this house, Clifton, was where his guests used to come and stay. So when India got independent and he was moving to Kenya, he was finding buyers to sell it off as it is. So these folks, my friend and my host, Shishar, his grandfather bought this Clifton house, and it's
Mhm.
been with them since 40
Sounds
years,
like an
whatever.
amazing
Late.
history. I
It
think,
is,
yeah,
yeah,
people are, but yeah, I think we should get to that eventually. First, let's go
yeah.
back a bit. I remember when I first met you, you were actually working for TV Today, with Ajkat. You were
Yes,
you were an
yeah.
HR executive. Now I'll have to probably, I didn't know you would
It
one day
was it
become.
was more than an executive. I was heading HR over there at that point
You,
of time. Yeah.
so all these crazy anchors, I should blame you for them.
Oh, some of them, some of them were there even when I joined. But yeah, some of them got there when I was there. Yeah.
Anyway, I know I've seen you as an artist, as in I've been to your exhibition, two of your exhibitions, if I recall. One
Yeah.
was in
Yeah.
Habitat Center, another one was in Saket. I've seen some of your works, and what I liked is I not just the usual paintings, but also I guess I saw you even paint kettles, which is very interesting and new for me when I saw them because I've
Yeah,
never
that was
seen.
a phase when I was doing all of that, or haven't painted the kettles in last 2 3 years. But yeah, I kind of do all those kind of things. Like, so
Ket-
now I've moved on to painting the old baksas and all that.
Oh, interesting.
Anybody in the
Buxas, I remember
family?
thinking
Yeah,
of
yeah.
painting a Buxa or getting it painted by you.
Yes,
In
yes, yes,
fact,
yes. Yeah.
but I keep joking, it's kettle to show your metal. But the interesting thing about the whole thing, when I saw your kettles, it was an eye opener for me because I suddenly realized that, look, anything with colors and creativity can actually spring to life with art. So that's one thing I learned there. Of course,
Yes, absolutely.
not that I have not seen uh, various kinds of art, but this was something very interesting, new, as in it's something that you could touch and feel and you could identify with, and
Yeah.
that is something I recall. So, and the other thing that you mentioned now is that you had this phase and you grow out of it. A lot of people don't realize as artists actually have go through phases where one day you were painting one kind of stuff, another day you're painting another
So
stuff.
it's like you would know that you would know it very well because you're a writer and a poet. Is that you evolve? You if today, even if you want, even if I want, I won't be able to make the painting like I made about, say, let's say, about 8 9 years ago. So
Mm.
because you have moved, every each and every day you are um, expressing and learning and experiencing new things, and your own vocabulary is changing, your experiences are changing. So
Mhm.
I'm sure you won't, we can't write the
I
poems
know.
that
I
we
mean, I
wrote
know.
earlier.
I know. A lot of people don't realize is that filmmakers and poets and artists and even architects perhaps were like that, where some of it is not just work for others, but you know well, I've been a journalist also. It's a catch-22 situation, if you ask me,
Yes,
because
absolutely. Yeah.
to be journalist means you have to actually reach out to others and understand them better.
Yes.
And it's a communication, act of
Yeah.
communication. Whereas art may or may not be communication. Art, some people may get excited about a certain kind of art as a art
It
lover, I'm talking. But,
it is a
some may be,
communication. It's a visual
yeah,
communication,
but
but
the
who it
intention.
communicates to, who it communicates to, you have no control over it. Like
Yeah,
as an
exactly. And
artist,
also,
who
as I
will,
said, you are I distinguish it by calling it expression as against communication. Expression is when, like, suppose
yes.
you were doing pottery one, and now and suddenly you discover, let us say, stained glass. Then you will say your medium has changed. Your expression, medium of expression has changed. I
So
think
this,
let's realize the
yeah.
fact that not all of the people who are watching this are into art in that sense, and
Yeah, and
therefore, to
that is
that
why we are
extent,
doing this so that they can get interested in it. And also, the reason why this whole art retreat and everything started in my head was to get more and more people initiated into the whole world of art, art for themselves, art for art in general, the whole concept of art, and to appreciate art around them, and art in them, So,
that
yeah.
that's interesting. It's an yeah. You could call it art. The big question is, does one have to be an artist or even want to be an artist in order to join your retreat? That is the big question.
Done. No, so you don't have to be an artist, and you definitely should be wanting some. There should be some interest in nature or art or creative, something that is what will make you take that plunge and come. Because
Mhm.
my retreats are all not so far not in Delhi, because that's the whole point, to take you away from your routine life and to
Mhm.
take you to a location which is full of nature and which has enough for you to soak in, in terms of
Mhm.
nature and in terms of the peace and the quiet and the surroundings and the experience. And in that experience, hoping that you would get inspired, and you will have left your daily day-to-day work of what to make and what to cook and where are the kids and where is the wife, and where is the boss, things like that, and deadlines. So leave that world outside and come and join in this. So I call it vacation hues, because it is a vacation for you. You're taking a break for yourself and not for anybody else. And it's hues because it's all about the different hues that are existing around us.
Mhm.
I started this the whole concept.
Let's. Sorry to interrupt, Shubhra, but I think before we discuss vacation views and your nice
Yeah.
retreat that you plan, let's have a bit of the history of you as the artist. You know,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I know you left a corporate job, so just imagine that you're doing a CV for me. Not that artists are not like corporates where they tangle their MBA CVs, but I do want to know in a very CV sort of a way, what have you been up to as an artist? What all have you done in terms
Okay.
of mediums or in terms of? I remember you doing something for the telemetro, if I recall
Yes,
correct.
yes,
So,
yes,
so to
yes.
give me the whole series so that we won't be random in this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I have been painting for a long time now, from 2003 or 4, and then I got trained into art slowly and steadily. I have never gone to an art school, so I had a series of mentors, and Vasundhara Tiwari Bruta is my mentor. And currently now I have started going to Triveni Studios, and Rameshwar Bruta sir is my mentor, also my
Mhm.
mentor. And so my journey
I've
starts. So
been to their
when,
house. Actually, it's interesting. I've been to their house once, and one crazy night. I don't really know them, but there were some mutual friends, and I've never seen a. There was a dining table which was like made of glass, and it had something very arty painted on it.
yes,
Then
yes,
I suddenly figured out that artists see just about everything. The furniture is also art. Anyway, yeah, go on.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So I started like I delving into art on my own, and then I met my mentors, and I was still working on those days. Due to some experiences and some events and incidents, I had to quit my job in 2009. at that point of time, I wasn't sure whether art is the way for me. Again, I was looking for jobs and looking for projects, but they didn't come by immediately. And that time, to stay sane, because you were like, it was a whole period of turmoil. I just painted. I painted a lot. I painted and I did a lot of, I was painting and I was doing photography. These were the two things. I would get up in the morning and go out and shoot the different monuments in Delhi, or during the day just paint. So that was, I think, somewhere the start. And then slowly in the next 2-3 months, I took this decision that I don't want to join the corporate and I want to, give my all to the world of art. And therefore, my journey as a full-time artist started then. And from then till now, it's 13 and a half years. Next year, I turn 14 years since being a freelancer. I've won for sure. I've survived. And
I'm just wondering, I was on the BBC radio this morning, and when they use the word freelancer, I feel very free. I mean, I'm saying if chartered accountants are not freelancers, if movie actors are not freelancers, then why should some people be called freelancers and not others? Anybody who's an independent professional is a freelancer. That includes lawyers.
absolutely,
Anyway, that aside,
absolutely,
me playing with words as opposed to colors that you do.
yeah.
But
So yeah, so then my journey started, and I have since then done 5 solo shows and a lot of group shows. And by chance, I got introduced to the architects of Delhi Metro, who were looking for some artwork at Central Secretariat Metro Station, just ahead of the Commonwealth Games. I obviously didn't have a CV then to boast about, but I lugged it out because they just were willing to hear me out, hear my concepts. And I just said, okay, can I make a presentation? They said, yes. We made a presentation. They liked the presentation. They asked us to make a prototype. We made a prototype. They loved it. They approved it. And those days, the metro was not so bureaucratic. Mr. Sridharan was at the helm of things. And they gave us the work, and I joined. Along with a friend of mine who was a photographer and a graphic designer, the two of us, we did our first metro project. And it was around this time only that we completed, about 2010, and Mr. Sridharan really liked it. And when he liked it and he said that, fabulous work, and I wish you would do more work, there were senior metro people standing there, because when he said that, so we instantly got recognized by them. So then they called us for the next project when they were happening. So that's how I managed to do from 2010 to 2017 the team I had, because it is a humongous project, so I never did it alone. So I had a team, I collaborated with artists, Vishwesh Sant in Janpat Metro Station, and Vibhor in the other stations, Vibhor Taneja. They are both graphic designers and photographers. So I collaborated with them, and I've done 5 metro stations from 2010 to 2017. That's Jama
wow.
Masjid, Jamia Millia, Central Secretariat, Janpat, and Indira Gandhi Domestic Airport Metro Station. So that
So
was
it's like being part of a city's history as well as, uh,
absolutely.
and your
And
stuff is
our,
still there.
yes,
It's
it is.
still there.
It's a part of an installation. It's still there,
Okay.
and our designs and our concepts were also about the city. It was very it was conceptual. It was not just random, kuch bhi, some whatever. So that was a great break for me, and obviously for my fellow artists. And each and every during this whole process, I evolved as an artist. Yeah, I've done solo shows, and I've done participated in group shows. I learned ceramic. I've learned photography from my mentor, Mr. Shailen Parker, whose exhibition I think you visited also. And he's he's the guy who actually has been supporting me ever since in this journey. Apart from Basundhara, these two people are the people who I give a lot of credit to for who I am today. And apart from that, so I learned photography. I've been doing photography, and I learned ceramic in between in 2015, because I just love the medium of clay and everything. So yes, as an artist, I've been evolving. And then in 2020, I did, when the pandemic happened, and there was I somehow, there was a creative block. I couldn't go back to the canvases, and I had to do something. And in 2020, end of 2020, I also broke my hand. So there was limitations of doing work. So I got into another medium called paper pulp. I made my own pulp, and I made sculptures and relief works out of it. And that whole series somehow became a series which I called Andolan GV, because it was all protest art. It was my angst against the pandemic and against the protests and against everything else, like, the migration workers' plight and all of that. So, and the shortage of oxygen and everything. So that series, a lot of the work has been done, but some of it is still on. So yeah, that's been my journey so far. And
Very nice. I think.
in 2018 was my last solo show in Bombay. After that, I was planning one in 2020, but then the pandemic happened. And so 2018 is when I got this idea that I have, got so much out of art. How about passing it on to others? That whole idea got materialized much later, in about 5-6 months later. And I had my first art retreat in Garhwal at Birdsong homestay. She belongs to a friend, Kiranjit Kaur, Chiranjit Chaturvedi. She has this place in Garhwal and near Chamoli. And that's where my first art retreat happened in April 2019. And this one that is going to happen in Clifton, Nainital, will be the 10th. So I've already finished nine art retreats since then.
Oh my God, interesting. So they've all been in Garhwal, or
No. So, and mostly in Uttarakhand, and one of them in Konkan and Goa. And I haven't gone to the Himachal side as yet. But yeah, to Uttarakhand, and I went to Konkan, and I went to Goa to a place called Happiness Estate, where met the host Vikrant Nath. He reached out to me, and then ever since, then I did a retreat over there, and we've been good. I've made some great friends with all homestay guys and all the participants. So yes, maybe
that's
we'll
very,
do
very
another
interesting.
thing.
This is
Yeah,
like
we'll do another thing.
it's like it's like Airbnb holiday in which you throw in a huge amount of introduction to art. See, let's take a look back. I
Yeah.
think there's we're sort of short of time, but I heard Taru saying interesting. Thank you so much, Taru, and I can see others are watching. Please shoot any weird questions that you might have in the comment space, and I might just want to throw that at Shubhra. But the point, Shubhra, is that I think, it's very interesting. You were painting, and then you were painting, sometimes the medium changes, as in you can paint kettle, you can paint metro stations, and then you can change the medium to ceramics and then to pulp. So everything is sort of something that you've experienced, and I suppose you carry that forward in your retreat. So typically,
Yes.
what is if I were to compare an art retreat of yours like a food thali, what are the elements of that thali?
That's a very nice comparison. So you have a lot of fun. That's the main ingredient. A lot of love, a lot of fun, a lot of nature. It's flexible in the sense it's not very, it's structured, but it's flexible. People get to experience what they feel like inclined to. But I introduce, so this 3.5 days, we start with an ice-breaking session. And the next day, 1.5 days, between the 3 full days, 1.5 days, I introduce them to different mediums, to different, demonstrate different techniques, throw in a few spontaneous exercises or fun exercise, or, trying to break their barriers against the whole notion of what art is and what are the tools are, ask them to pick twigs and ask them to pick, different things and paint with that and, dirty their hands and stuff like that, or go on walks and pick up, different leaves and different,
It's like a
pine
nice
cones and all. Yeah.
kindergarten
And
for adults.
absolutely. And then after about 1.5 days, everybody, and there are a whole kind of things, there's paper, there's canvas, everything, and people pick up whatever they feel like, and then they start to, express their own, whatever they've seen or whatever they feel like, and then they express and make their paintings. And it's, in my experience, everybody goes back with at least 2-3, if not more, canvases and paperworks and all. It's so much fun to see. They themselves surprise them more often. It's it's so much fun to see, and so much fun to see them start with "Ye mujhse nahi hoga" to saying, "Oh my God, not bad," saying that. And every evening we screen movies and on art.
Art
So
movies.
so either
Not
a
art movies, but
biography of,
movies and art. Because art movies can be about, even
No, no, no.
poverty or tourism,
No,
but
no,
this
no.
is
The movies on art.
movies on art
So
and.
a
Mhm.
documentary maybe on a Picasso, or a document or a movie on, on Van Gogh, or a documentary on, on Matisse or whatever, like Frida Kahlo. I have, collected a whole lot of. There's a very nice documentary on Frida Kahlo. So share that often on seeing what people are interested in, and how they are, how much time we have. And we all also, we it's not just art. We go out, in the evenings. You wind up the session by about 5 or so, and then you go out for a walk. You see, go to a sunset point, or you do, if like in Nainital, people always want to go to the mall for whatever reason. So you kind of tell them that, okay, go down. I mean, you can take them down to the mall, and they kind of go and buy something. Everybody wants to pick up something. So, but in other locations like in Satkol, or in Happiness Estate, all those things were not possible because there wasn't a mall there. So people would go to the sunset point, go just for a stroll, come back, and then we would sit outside, or some, if the weather is nice, or if it's cold, then sit inside and watch a movie
So it's
together.
like a holiday in which you bring out the artist and the art lover and everyone. And like you say, it's not a function of age group or whether you have a
Yes,
background or anything.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
anybody who's just curious about art is potentially somebody who comes there. And 3 nights and 3 days and four
Four
nights is
nights.
what we're planning this time. It's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
3 nights, 3 days.
Always 4 nights and 3 days. So, like, typically, if you have to include a weekend, you reach by Wednesday afternoon, and a Wednesday you settle down, have a ice breaking, introduce each other, whatever, and you start work from like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you go back on Sunday whenever, like
So
whatever time people want to leave out.
you watch art, you talk about art, you do art, and you
You
appreciate art.
experience, yeah, you
And
experience
yeah,
the nature
various.
and the
So
beauty in the
it's like
nature,
looking
yeah,
at
and
art in various dimensions.
yeah,
Let's talk about specifically about your Clifton thing because I was quite curious because although you had mentioned it in an email to me that it was Jim Corbett's mother who built this. It's a
yes.
fascinating story. You when you go to a place like this, it's like you become part of some history, and as if uh,
Absolutely. So if you
there is
go
a
there,
ghost of
yeah, if
Jim
you go to the
Corbett moving
homestay,
around.
yeah,
There,
yeah,
but there are no ghosts of some of the tigers that Corbett killed. They are there in the Clifton, are you? Or we should make a movie.
not in Clifton, but adjoining Clifton is the Corbett House, which is Gurney House. So a lot of Jim Corbett's actual things are there. His bed, some of his crockery, some of his trophies, the things he's shot are all there. In Clifton, actually, my friend Shivi, whose homestay this is, his father and his grandfather, they were all hunters those days when hunting was still allowed, and they ran a company called, I'm forgetting the name. Uh, Shikar Company, I think, the Shikar Company. That's what their company was,
Well,
and
of
they
course,
used
it's
to get
only
a, yeah,
it's a name now, not the real Shikar. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So because like after that, hunting was prohibited. So they have a lot of trophies, a lot of history. A lot of people visited their place. So they have all those things also in that in their living rooms and all. There's a lot of history there. So anybody who's interested has a lot of stuff to see there, and the stories. Shivi and his brothers and his father, they are like mostly his father stays there from like in the summer months, so he always comes down and he chats with everybody, and he's such a storyteller. And I remember he sharing the stories of how how they got acquired this place, like his grandfather acquired this place, and many hunting stories, and lots of fun, for us, for people like us who've never experienced that life or whatever. So and then if suppose uncle is not around, then because they have lived a life, so like that, they're part of a legacy. So all the brothers
Interesting.
and all,
No,
they
just two technical points. How far is this from the Nainital Mall that you talk about?
So
Clifton.
it's on Nainital. Nainital. The lake is in between, and there are two sides of the hills. This is on the other side, which is called the Ayar Pata Hill, where all your schools are, All Saints and
Okay.
Sherwood and all
Okay.
that. That side, the governor's
So
house, Raj Bhavan.
it's sort of almost like it's in
It
Nainital
is in
town
Nainital.
itself. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but on
the
the other
interesting
side,
part is that, but what you didn't mention, which I just discovered, is that, yeah, you can actually visit the Gurney's house where Corbett
yes,
stayed,
you
and that
can.
can be part
I
of
was
your
going.
experience.
No, that
Yeah.
is part of the experience.
Yeah,
We
but tell
take
me
the
more
people there.
about the Clifton house itself. How many rooms does it have, and is there a main hall or somewhere where you do all this kind of stuff that
So
you?
there are 5 rooms, and very nice and very aesthetically done. There's a large lawn, and there's a living room also, and a veranda. So basically, what we do is during the day we are always outside, and we are working outside. At night, if it is cold, then we light a bonfire also. The movies we screen in the living room. There's a very nice, big, spacious dining hall, and we like all the meals happen there. So yes, and the homestay guys, the Shivi and his family, they stay upstairs. So so it's independent. You're not actually
So it's like
intruding.
this old-fashioned British era house with all
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
high
yeah,
ceilings and
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
you pillars or whatever.
Yes, yes,
I don't know.
absolutely.
Maybe I think you should. Perhaps people should Google Clifton Homestay in Nainital to take a look at the pictures, perhaps, because I
Yes,
haven't
yes,
seen it. I'm not sure it
absolutely,
might be.
absolutely. It is
Um,
a lovely
so,
bungalow, and it is, and the people and the staff is very hospitable, and the people, the all these people are very nice, and that's why I mean we just hit it off. Like we've had 2 retreats there, and then um,
hmm,
mutually we agreed to have a third one, and I'm sure we'll have many more
hmm.
there because
Nupur says
also
it's
it's
a
very
lovely.
accessible. Yes,
Nupur
Nupur has
says it's
been
a
there.
lovely bungalow. It's there. I mean, I would, as a writer, I would love to have reading sessions out there, by
So
the
in
fire.
Gurney House, in
Mhm.
Gurney, so there is a literary festival that happens in Nainital, which will happen just preceding my retreat. That's why my retreat starts
Which
uh,
festival is this?
Himalayan Echoes, the Kumaon
Oh, yeah,
Literary
I've heard of
Festival.
that. Oh, this is the same place. Okay.
No, it's not the same place. So Nainital, that's happening in Abbott House, Himalayan Echoes. Janvi is the one who hosts that, and Janvi is friends with these people. And I got introduced through these folks only, Shivi and his family. And so that's how 8th and 9th is the Himalayan Echoes Festival, and 9th my retreat starts. So yeah, so if somebody wants, they can come, have 2 days of literary experience, and then 3 days of art experience, and have a totally cultural vacation, and it's quite
Yeah.
nice, and everybody
And,
is.
and
Yeah, and yeah, so I'll be there at the Himalayan Echoes Festival, and I'll be attending that festival, and I'm sure they'll be also joining us, and for some of the sessions. And there is also a possibility, if there are any people from Nainital who are watching this, that if there are any locals who want to not stay but come and attend just as day boarders, there is an option for that also.
mm,
They can
And
DM me
Nupur
and they
thoughtfully
can.
reminds us that the food is really good, which I'm sure it is, because if you describe the whole ambience like this, then obviously the food is part of the whole experience. Of course,
Absolutely.
you shouldn't go to sleep, else you will miss the art. So, how many people in all will be there, as you expect, if there's a full house? Yeah.
So I won't. The full house is not more than 6 people. I like to keep it small so that I can give
Okay, it's a
personal
group.
attention. And also the homestay has, though they have, 5 rooms, and they can accommodate, like if it's a twin sharing, they can accommodate, 8, 10 people. But I don't like to have more than 6 people, so that I can give personal attention to people who are joining the retreat. And also it is very intense for me, like for 3.5, 4 days of total art, and to reach out to people, and to reach out the people reaching out, and it's a whole lot of bonding with nature, with themselves, with
Yeah.
art,
But tell
with
me,
the.
how much, I mean, like, is there a website or something where people can see what has happened in the previous retreats, where they can just go or see the experiences, or maybe view the
Yes,
comments if they've been there?
there is a Facebook page called Vacation Hues with Shubhra Chaturvedi.
Vacation Views, yeah, Vacation Views Facebook page should contain a lot of, so anybody is
Yeah,
interested, they can
previous,
go there
yeah.
and even message you, apart from, of course,
If they go to my website shubhrachaturvedi.com and type on the art retreats,
subrachaturvedi.com, simple as that,
they'll
yeah,
see
okay.
some pictures from what previous retreats. Uh,
Um,
all the Yeah. So it's, and I've, like, so far there've been more than 40 people who have attended this. More, I'm missing, the number maybe. It's more than that. So it's been a really good experience for me also to make that many friends, to ignite that little spark of, and a lot of people sometimes keep sending whatever they do back to me, saying I made this, or asking me, I want to do this. Do I prime my canvas, or do I use this medium? So it's a ongoing interaction. So once you join Vacation Hues, you become part of the family, and I'm approachable 24/7. You can reach out to me. I stay here in Delhi. If somebody is from Delhi, they can come to my
Yeah,
studio,
but
come
you
to
also
my home.
mentioned you also hold weekend classes in Delhi. I don't know. There are other things that you do.
Yeah, so I do these. I do online classes which started in the pandemic, which I'm still continuing, which happen every Wednesday. And apart from that, I do these art therapy or mindful art sessions called mindful strokes. So they are aimed at just bringing you in the here and now, and through art, therapy through art, de-stressing you. There is not much gyan that is happening there, but just to bring your focus into your own self or this thing. So what happens is that uh, people are get the child back in them, and break
Mm.
that mental thing that
Yeah,
art
like
is
I
not
said,
for
it's
me.
a
Huh.
kindergarten for adults.
So that
KG for
mindful
adults.
strokes for so far was happening only online. But this coming weekend, not this weekend, but the coming weekend, that is 1st of October and 2nd of October, I'm doing offline sessions in Gurgaon, South Point Mall. There's a place called Quill and Canvas, a bookstore,
Oh yeah.
where, yeah, we are hosting these mindful stroke sessions. It'll be 2 hour session on Saturday and Sunday, 3 to 5. So
So
if
if
anybody
people
is
visit your
interested,
shubhrachaturvedi.com, they'll see a whole lot of things that they can do with you in
yes.
Delhi or NCR or even in
Or
retreats
if
that they
they
do.
follow my Insta handle, they'll still see a lot of stuff
Okay. Which,
because
forgot to ask, Shubhra, we're sort of running out of time. I thought I might as well ask you, how much does this vacation youth retreat cost, and where do people have to show up? Do they have to show up at the place, or is it from Delhi? Or how does it work exactly?
no, so the cost does not include the travel. Once you reach there, you're taken care of for the next 4 days. Everything,
Mm.
including
Mm.
the art material, your stay, your food, everything. Whatever you make over there or whatever art, you bring it back with you. So everything is taken care of, except for if you have your any personal belongings, any particular type of food, this that you have to carry that.
Mm. So
Any
how
booze you
much is
want
the
to
bill
carry. And
for
so
the
it's different,
package?
in different places, but largely around the range of 35,000. For this particular retreat, the price is 32,000 rupees for
32,
four
which
nights
means
and
for
3.
4 night, that means let's look at it as 8K a night for everything, including food and art and all the experience and everything. So that's a
Everything.
way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Clifton Homestay seems like a very nice place, and I must find out if this is the same Clifton whose name adorns Karachi's elite. And you go into colonial history, it's so fascinating. And well, that for me is a separate writer's mindset that is sticking away,
Yeah.
not to be
Yeah.
confused with the
In
artist's
fact,
mindset.
you should join one of the retreats. You will love it, I'm sure.
Hopefully, inshallah, as they say, hopefully, Bhagwan kare to. So
Huh.
anyway, Shubhra, all the best. I think this is the date is October 9 to 13. I suppose this is
Yes.
just after the Dussehra vacation for
Yes.
most
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
fine time of the year when it's not too cold, as in there's a nip in the air,
It's
I
going to
suppose.
be
Because
beautiful there because it's going to be beautiful. Autumn is it's yeah, you are right. It's not so cold, and the rains would have hopefully just finished by then. Though it's raining just now, but hopefully it would have finished by then. And
so
it's
just
all
for the
been
record,
even.
if people land up in Nainital and take a cab or something, they'll land up at the Clifton Homestay,
So
right? Is that all?
what we do is once people register, they have to obviously get in touch with me. We register. There's a process. They have to make the payment, at least 50% of the payment to be made now, and 50% just a few days before the retreat starts. And once they register, we help them with logistics also. Um, Thank you, Nupur, for saying that. I just read this thing. So yeah,
Well,
I
she's your cousin.
so
She's your cousin. Okay. No, I'm just
Yeah.
joking.
No, she's my
Well,
student also, by the way. So
yeah,
she, from
Nupur,
being a
I know,
poet, yeah. So she
I know
became,
her.
in the
I know her
pandemic,
as
she
a
became my
writer.
student.
I
Huh.
know her as a writer. So we are all one of a crazy tribe
Yes,
in with some variations in the hue.
absolutely. And I
But
remember meeting you all at the Cafe Ratti. That's
yeah, I
how.
know we've done a few things together. I don't know. There was also this place in South Delhi near Shahpur Jat. I remember meeting with her once. I forget the name of the place. When we
And
talked about coffee. Yeah.
and I have to thank you that you were the one who took me for that Zubin Mehta performance also. Remember?
I forgot that. I completely forgot.
Yeah,
Amazing.
because we had by chance met for one of our general, meet catching up sessions, and you mentioned and you said you want to come along. I said, yeah,
No, I
sure.
remember. I've been to three Zubin Mehta concerts. I don't know. This is a blessing. God has blessed me with a lot of very good concerts, from watching Mark Knopfler live in Bangalore to this thing. But that should be some other day.
Yes,
This is not my
absolutely. Yeah.
music day. This is your art day. But
Art
I've
day. Yeah.
seen that a few people have been watching, and hopefully people will gain some knowledge. But one small issue which I had, which is that you said not more than 6 to 8 people will really attend. So that's a very small group, which basically means that people can even book a family retreat with you, where there are 5, 6 people grouping in,
Absolutely.
or
Absolutely.
college
I've
students
had
in a gang, or office colleagues in a
Yeah,
gang can show up. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. They can they can have a different kind of an offsite. They can do all kinds of things. That option is always there. In fact, just to harbor on that point, I've had people who are the mother and daughter, mother and son, where mother is both mother and daughter. Like the mother is the senior and the daughter chota, and even the other way around. Mother and the senior mother and daughter, daughter and mother, that's those kind of things, father and daughter kind of people, attending, and that. So yes, that bonding is happening. Friends who haven't met in a long time, they just, planned to, they say, okay, let's go for this together. And then they come
Okay,
and they've made new
I'm
friends
going to
also.
short story around your art retreat and say two people who have not met each other since their college days suddenly bump into each other at your art retreat,
And
and
then love blooms.
yeah,
So
and
love in times of,
but all I have to bring in is a bit of colonial history and Corbett, and a bit of, one of them sees the ghost of one of the tigers that Corbett killed, and then depending on whether I want TRPs or not, or if I want TRPs, I'll bring in a local MLA in that, I suppose. On that note, Shubha, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not just colors that you play with. You also play with ideas as an artist or a writer. And places like this Clifton Homestay dramatically kindle your imagination. I remember meeting
Absolutely.
Ruskin Bond, the writer, at a mountain. He lives in a lovely little place, or used to at that time, in Landor in Missouri. I remember suddenly going in there and he gifting me as one of the Spanish copies of his books lying around. And it was a wonderful experience. So the thing about mountains and artists and these kind of experiences, that suddenly there is a huge amount of serendipity, and there's something beautiful about discovering certain things that you've not before. So on that note, Shubhra, thank you so much, and it's been nice. This
Thank
is
you.
my
Thank you,
first.
Madhavan.
Yeah, this is my first Instagram live. So funnily enough, I've been live on BBC TV and radio, but this is my first Instagram live. So I've got to figure this out. So thank you very much. All the best for your
Thank you.
retreat.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
I
Thank you
suppose
for this
people will
conversation.
benefit
Yeah.
from watching this session, and maybe a
I
couple
hope
of them
so.
will
Yeah.
show up at least to
I
experience this. Sounds like a very interesting idea. So,
Yes, I can tell you, I always, I believe that, whoever has come, people have there is an inhibition. People think that, oh, whether I should join, and there's a whole lot of thing, getting away for 4 days, and the whole, sometimes money is an issue, sometimes leaving people behind is an issue. But I can tell you, when people come there, they say thanks to whoever either pushed them, or if I pushed them, then to me, or to whoever pushed them, or whoever told them. And they are always very, very happily surprised by their own output and the whole experience. So that for me is more to see
Yeah,
them
I think
create
for me, the
is
very idea of going on a getaway or a holiday, but not being random or predictable, but doing something new and somewhat productive. If there's something beautiful about being focused and having a holiday at the same time. So when
same
you do
time.
an art
Absolutely.
holiday, I suppose, now you can have a writing workshop of a similar kind. I guess I wouldn't mind holding that
Absolutely.
sometime or being
Yeah.
part of something. So. Anyway, thank you so much. It's a longer conversation than I had planned actually with you, but it's been
Yes,
fun.
absolutely. Yeah.
And thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you, Madhavan. It was lovely talking to you, and see you.
Same here. Likewise. Bye bye.
Bye bye.